Hello, welcome to another live Google Hangout on the Living Income Guaranteed. Today we are continuing with our discussions on sustainability and the development today of businesses that are focused on having sustainability as their foundation. So we've titled this Hangout Reduce, Reuse and Recycle because that's the actual motto and principle that our guest today has used for the development of her business model on sustainable apparel. So we have Tunde with us from Sweden. Hi, Tunde.
Hi, Marlene.
Welcome to the Hangout, and thanks for being with us. So we have a quote from Gandhi who is actually saying that there is no beauty in the finest cloth if it makes hunger and unhappiness. And your business model is actually trying to create an awareness on sustainability and this whole point of how can we contribute to or prevent the whole impact that the clothing industry also has in terms of environmental problems. So let's get with first understanding what your business model is. The name of your store is Swappies. How did you come to create it, and what's your background to do this?
My background is business administration. I have a bachelor in business administration, specialized on marketing communication, and then I studied the master of science in sustainable development at Uppsala University recently, and so that's my background, and my passion for sustainability is the drive. It's one of the reasons why I studied sustainable development. I've heard about the context of sustainable development long before, actually 1999, when I attended an international conference about the future of our planet and the future of our economy, and one of the message was that we are not living and our economy are not based on sustainable ideas, and we are consuming the resources in a way too rapid manner, and then we should change direction in order to sustain the life for future generations. So I took this problem really seriously and I would like to do something about it. So I decided to study sustainable development so I can be more well educated, and I can gain more knowledge about the scientific background of it. And then when I started to look for jobs, well, I managed to find a very interesting internship, a consultancy company which focused on the sustainability problems related to the textile and apparel industry here in Sweden, in Stockholm. And then I gained a lot of knowledge in the context, and then I decided to do something about it because I've seen that the industry is not solving most of the problems, and the current business models are not really taking care of the challenges. And one of the biggest challenges of the textile industry is that they are not closing the loop. They should support a circular economy, and we should completely delete the notion of waste, and we should build in waste into the system so it becomes a circular economy. And reusing and reducing the resources what we use for clothing, and recycling is a really important part of the solution. And I decided not to work as a consultant, but to work actively and walking the talk instead. So making something, creating something by myself, and doing something, showing by doing, and helping to people to provide a new model that I consider sustainable.
How does the Swappies system work, in fact? Can you give us an example of how it operates?
The Swappies system is actually it's a combination of the name itself, combination of swap in English and ending is like a Swedish ending, and in Swedish there is a word loppis. It's a flea market, which is actually really popular here in Sweden, and combination of flea market and exchanging clothes. I created this word swappies. It's about that we collect clothes, so we would like to encourage people to clean their closet and bring the clothes that they don't need anymore but still have a good quality. They got tired of it, or they never liked it because they got it as a present, or they went up or down in weight. It happens to everybody, I guess. So there are so many reasons why we have a lot of clothes in our closet that we don't use, and it's a resource in everybody's house that very simply can contribute to a more sustainable resource use. So if you bring your clothes to us, we give you points for the clothes. So you receive points that is actually it's a value for the clothes that the clothes represents in our store. So it's just like a price. It has it represents the quality of the clothes and the slitage, how much it's been used, the material in it. If it was a natural material, we give higher points, for example, silk or cotton. And if it's polyester or synthetics, then it receives less value, because it's not good for the environment when it becomes waste. This is how we think. Even if maybe the production of a cotton requires more energy or water, which is true, but it's been already produced. So in terms of secondhand, we don't have the same environmental aspects as if it's a new product. So we give higher value to natural products, natural textiles, and then you receive the points from us, and then for the points you can buy for the half price. So
very cool.
This is how we give the bonus to the people who recycle and reuse, helping us the whole society to reuse the garments. So
we have a question from Anna, so let's jump onto it from Anna Briggs, and she's saying, "Hi Tunde, thanks so much for being on the Hangout. It's important work you do for sure. So what reactions or responses have you experienced from other traditional business owners in your area towards your business or your business model?"
From people, from my clients, or
from people around, like other business or maybe other stores or business owners. What's the feedback?
Yeah, the feedback in general, it's quite positive, I have to say. So maybe 80% of the people who come to the store and I go into a dialogue with them, they're really positive and really appreciate and very surprised of the new business model, and really encouraging me to continue and appreciating that I make the effort and do it, and really positive. But on the other hand, there are organizations that I was trying to collaborate with, and they are not very they don't really have the willingness, because they see it as a constraint, as my company form is not an NGO, so the collaboration opportunities are limited just because I'm a private enterprise. But for example, to get sponsorship, or for example, helping me to become more financially sustainable. For example, in terms of decoration in the store, I was contacting a company that I know that they receive furniture for free from people because they work as a charity, and I asked them for collaboration because actually I've been buying stuff from them for the decoration of my store, like sofa, and that I use it as a display for my product, so it has a nicer atmosphere and more like a vintage kind of style rather than just a boring second-hand store. And they are not willing to all collaborate because I'm not an NGO, and that just a company form is like a constraint in my development in that term. But otherwise, the clients are really supportive and happily coming to the store and bringing items and purchasing.
Yeah, what I see is also a very cool aspect when I got into your store in Sweden is that you also engage with the customer. And for example, I got to kind of realize that an item, a clothing item, actually entails an entire labor behind it, an entire production process behind it, and that we as consumers really are very detached from that aspect. So what do you say about, you know, that waste of labor and production when clothes are just stored in our closet, and how do you plan on reusing that, which is the sustainability aspect?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started this enterprise, because I see it as a really wasteful use of resources, that the space we are buying the new items, and even the retailers are encouraging people to buy to be involved in fast fashion, and I would like to slow down this fashion hysteria, and it's really important that people start to appreciate each and every piece and look at it as a result of a huge work of several companies and resources, starting from producing the textile, not producing, how do you call it? Like growing the crops for the cotton, for example. It requires a lot of water. People have to harvest it and then process the material into a garment, and then to thread, and then to a garment, and then the design process in it. The company who is ordering from the factories, and the factory workers are really very low paid, and then the transport that is involved in the whole business economic process as well. So until we see it in the store nicely hanging on the hangers, on the racks, and on a very cheap price, which is actually not reflecting the real price of the garment, because we actually are not paying for the environmental damage each and every piece causing in the environment when where they are created. The water usage, the chemicals that are involved and in the process, in the bleaching and in the coloring, and actually we are not the ones who are paying for it, but those countries that the production takes place are damaged by it, and going to pay the price in the future in terms of healthcare and so on. Yeah,
I have some data here. 3 trillion gallons of fresh water are used to produce 60 billion kilograms of fabric. So that's a lot of use of fresh water. 20% of industrial fresh water pollution comes from textile treatment and dyeing, as you were mentioning. And so there is an estimated of 30 billion per year that is also in terms of loss due to the failures that companies and individuals have when it comes to recycling, as well as the amount of energy that the global textile industry produces, which is 10% of the total carbon impact. So that's simply to add on to what you've just explained. So let's move on to another point, which is the major retailers, which you could say are responsible for the production of a lot of garments every single year, and mostly driven by the sense of creating profit. So what is your perspective on whether they are environmentally engaged, or what is lacking from them in terms of that responsibility to their collection of clothes and the information to consumers? What's your perspective on this?
Yes, there are many companies and retailers who are engaging in sustainability issues and trying to work on the solutions and spending money um, on such issues. But I think it's really a very tiny part of their organization that they are returning their profit on it. So I don't see enough. That's why I also started this business, because I don't see enough actions, and it's only some scratches on the surface what they are doing in comparing to the size of the company and the size of the amount of waste and the amount of damage they are doing compared to how much good they are doing. It's so tiny that I cannot call it really sustainable. So yeah, I mean, it's still the negative aspects are unfortunately in majority, and yeah, there are some companies who are collecting, and but on the other hand, some companies are using it as encouraging people to consume even more new production. So
like
I see
greenwashing, so to speak.
Yeah, I would call it. I didn't want to use it. Yeah, but yeah, I consider it greenwashing, because just because you just because you paint the dress or whatever green, it doesn't become green. So more or less, this is how I see their effort to make something more sustainable. Or they make a line that they call sustainable, the sustainable choice, or whatever, conscious whatever choice, or the green collection, but it's such a tiny part of their whole production, the whole supply, that it doesn't make a big difference actually. So they are still damaging more than they are healing. So, and if they encourage people to bring their clothes and then they get discount for buying a new product, it's not really educating people about becoming more conscious about the environmental aspects, and not encouraging them to use more secondhand, but encouraging them to buy more fast fashion products, which is even worse, because then they should turn the collected clothes into another second-hand store, or give the people the opportunity to buy those items, and not just collect them as trash and putting it away from the market. So they can gain more place for the new production products.
We have some comments. Yeah, cool. We have some comments. First of all, for people that don't speak English, we're sorry, because these hangouts take place in English, so apologize for that. There is a comment from Lav Radis. He's saying no one ever mentions Jevons paradox or kickback effect when talking about recycling. More efficient use of resources increase its usage. Are you aware of this Jevons paradox? I'm not aware, so.
More efficient use of resources?
Yeah, he's mentioning about the Jevons paradox or kickback effect when talking about recycling, where more efficient use of resources increases its usage.
Yeah, more efficient use of resources in terms of new production. Of course, it's important, and it's relevant. It's a part of the solution, but it's not about what we were talking about now. I mean, it's not really. I haven't heard about the concept. Actually, I haven't heard about the concept.
Yeah, me neither. So, Lav, thank you for your comment. If you can explain to us or give you some links for that information, we will appreciate it. So let's continue, because you've also faced some challenges in terms of the constitution of your business model. You call it a socially engaged enterprise or a sustainability enterprise. What are the challenges in terms of the Swedish system, specifically in terms of categorizing your business?
What are the challenges? That one of the biggest challenges that I am a new company, new startup, and a private enterprise. So maybe I don't have the credibility to many people. They don't trust me as a as a company. I often got the question, what kind of organization is it behind? Is it Red Cross or another Swedish collector they mention? And I say, no, it's not that organization, it's a new one. I started myself, and my name is Tunde, and I studied sustainable development. So I'm really, really private, and I'm sharing honestly my story with them. And some people like it and appreciate it even more, and then they react positively, and they say that, yeah, well, they are willing to bring in their clothes and help me or help each other with that recycling process and reusing process. But on the other hand, there are some people who are really skeptical and don't trust this whole idea, and they ask me for how long I'm going to be on the market, and how can I survive, how can I produce enough income or profits to be able to pay the rent, and these really private questions I got. And I don't really understand how they come to because actually I'm in, my store is in a shopping mall in the center of Uppsala. So it's not like a small minor street in a cellar, but it's quite a center place. So some people are really suspicious. How is it possible that I'm there as a startup, and as a private entrepreneur? Well, and also some people ask if there's a charity organization behind. If there's any charity activity connected to my company? And I say that, well, at the moment I don't have any kind of charity connected, but I wish that I reach that level when I can think about charity, when I have that much enough profit that I can give back to society, or in terms of financial support. But on the other hand, I have some clothes that I've been already giving away for free for people who needed it, who came to the store. I had a free box that people could just take the items if they wanted to, because it was actually quite a low quality clothes. But instead of throwing it away, I just put it in the box and wrote that it's for free, you can take. And many people use the opportunity and take some items. And actually I have a storage that I have some items that are leftovers and I didn't really succeed to sell them, or out of season summer clothes, for example. So I'm willing to support a group of people that might need it, are homeless, or families in a difficult financial situation. So, but when I got the question, if I'm doing any kind of charity, then I cannot say right away yes, because I am not like a Red Cross, or not like a company with a big name that they understand immediately that yes, it is a charity. So it requires a lot of talk and a lot of explanation, and then some of them understand, and some of them accept it and like it, and then some people just that is not, well, it's not a big organization that stands behind me, but it's just a private enterprise.
Yes, and that's also what we support in terms of the context of the Living Income Guaranteed, because there's not many people doing this kind of work, because it does imply a lot of work within the foundation of sustainability. So you do have to make profit because you have to live, and that's what we also support. You know, businesses that have that integrity to place sustainability as their foundation and main aspect and purpose. And yes, of course, you have to make profit from that, but it's not only about trading clothes or making people buy more clothes or anything like that, but just also placing that consumer awareness, the change of mentality of how we use clothes, and revaluing it in a way with this reuse as well. So we have some comments from, in terms of the Jarvan effect, Jevons, sorry. So yes. We got the definition from Anna. It says, in economics, the Jevons paradox, or sometimes Jevons effect, is a proposition that as technology progresses, the increase in efficiency with which a resource is used tends to increase rather than decrease the rate of consumption. And Lav, who placed initially the comment, he's saying that it's not about new production. For example, a person used recycled clothing and saves money. And how will they use that money means in new consumption. And here I would like to say that for sure part of Tunde's business model is precisely to make clothes more affordable, but then that money will simply be and can be used for other basic needs which are currently not even guaranteed for all individuals, which is part of why we're also proposing the living income guaranteed. So that's my perspective. What would you say, Tunde?
Well, yeah, I mean, the new production is making resource use more effective. I agree, but yeah, still recycling is going to play a very important role. However, because we have clothes in the, I mean, in the closet that we don't use, and we don't want to make it. We don't want to consider it as waste, because it's not a waste just because somebody doesn't use it who owned it for the first time.
Yeah, he's so referring to like creating new consumption. Like people save money with buying your clothes at your store, so that they will eventually buy with that money. But if we, I would like to say simply to Lav that, you know, if we only focus on, you know, everything and everyone will boil down to new consumption. That is what we are currently doing as human beings, and what we have to actually rather focus on is educating ourselves to learn what we spend our money on, and with that, for example, as we've mentioned in past Hangouts, to also vote for supporting people, you know, like you, for example, whose enterprise is not profit-driven.
By purchasing in my store, they are supporting a mother of two children, for example. I am not there to take some other people's money. I am there to earn my living as well, and.
Exactly.
And it's, I mean, it's about the community, that we support each other who live in the community. And it's not about organizations, it's about people. Every organization is about, consists of people, and we should see the people even in the clothes, that it's being produced by people. It's not like, yeah, it's a commodity. It became a commodity product, but it's, we should communicate, even people to people. We should communicate with each other, have more direct contact with each other, and appreciate and help each other, and not just becoming consumers. And then if we don't consume enough, we can do something else instead in our free time. We can make more art-related works, or entertainment, or production of products. I think it's a really old-fashioned and boring, and many people are not really interested in that material kind of development and consumption. It's really boring and frustrating for many people to even to go to a shopping mall, and that the majority of time is the majority of our time is about consuming. Yeah, like I said before, like.
He's also
communicating and interacting with each other, instead of just interacting in a store while we are purchasing.
Yeah, he's simply calling out for the paradox of, you know, you save money, you will eventually have to spend that money, but we are not exactly talking about that. We have made Hangouts on consumer education, so I will definitely refer you to that, because yes, consuming, as you were saying, Tunde, is part of what we have to do in order to survive. So it is within ourselves to decide how we spend that money, and ultimately if you want to spend it on junk and more production, that's your responsibility as a consumer, not part of the business that is actually contributing to spend your money wisely. So to that, I would simply give a closure to that, and let's keep on with the further questions that I have for you, because in this we have also the consideration of the consumer, as now we're mentioning. So now that we open up this point, which are the challenges that you faced in terms of fears or skepticism from your customers or the people in your locality?
The fear is that I actually receive more clothes that I can sell. So the fears are that I'm not being able to run the business financially sustainable. But on the other hand, it just calls for further investigations and further explorations towards future considerations, how we can improve the business so it will be more financially sustainable too. I'm just testing the idea now, so I'm not I don't know if I'm going to succeed, or I'm just positive. I'm just trying to see every problem as a challenge or as a sign for need for a slight change or improvement.
Yeah, I meant in terms of the customers, because we don't have that culture of buying secondhand clothes, for example. So how have you faced that point with the customers?
I don't really agree. I don't think that's the case, because secondhand and vintage is becoming and has become already really trendy, and it has some cultures and some countries has a huge culture, huge culture and very trendy about secondhand. And for example, in UK, it's really they say that some of the customers I had was from the UK, and they said that secondhand is actually more expensive because it's a more interesting item that you can find in secondhand stores, because there's only one piece of each item. There are no different sizes, and you don't meet the same person on the street in the same clothes on another person on the street. So I think it's you can express your personality by a secondhand store in contrast to if you go to a store where there are so many similar items, and you feel that you are standardized when you go there and you should follow a certain trend. But in secondhand store, it's actually up to you what you choose, and doesn't matter anymore. Even in fashion prognosis, they say that there are no more rules anymore. There are no real trends that you should follow, because there are eras that you can go back to and dress up like in the 60s or 70s or 80s, or you want to be retro, you want to be a hippie today, or you want to look like a sophisticated businessman or whatever. I mean, you can find your style in a secondhand store, but it's more difficult to find your style in modern or new production stores. So no, I don't think that's the case. That's the case, that people are afraid of secondhand. It's becoming more and more trendy, actually. Even in Eastern Europe, maybe because of the financial difficulties that people have to save, and they don't have that much money. But in England, it's the culture itself that is about diversity, and it's about personalities, that you express your personality by clothing, and nobody is telling you what you should have on you. You're not about you. I mean, it's more about the personal style. So
yeah, and also what I like about the concept of your business is that it involves also sharing with the individuals, like creating a sense of community, so to speak, and maybe getting to know people that want to volunteer working for you. How has that happened in your case? Do you have people working for you? What plans do you have in order to grow further?
Yeah, I have a lot of volunteers that are helping me, and I was quite lucky to find people when I needed, and because I have a bigger area for the store I use now. I started on a 70 square meter. Now I have almost 400 square meter space in the store, so I need more people to be able to provide a good service for the clients. Yeah, so it's not a problem to find volunteers, but maybe it will be more of a challenge with time, because it's probably more difficult to keep the volunteers in a longer time span. So they might be interested for a while, for 1 month or 2 months, or just to have a reference and some experience. But if they get a job that they can earn some money for living, then probably they would choose that. But on the other hand, when I talk to my volunteers, I promise, and not promise, I'm trying to find volunteers that they see the opportunity in Swappies. So they see as a future opportunity for even for finding an employment in Swappies. So,
and also, what we also propose in the Living Income Guaranteed is precisely that maybe people that are genuinely interested in working on that and not doing it for the sake of profit, that they could have access to a living income, and they could sign up as, I am a volunteer to this business model that is not as profitable right now, but I want to invest my time on that, and they would at the same time, without having to get another job, get a living income. So you wouldn't actually have to be worrying about them having to leave you because they require the money. And I see this as an opening also for new job sources, because right now all the jobs are the regular ones that we know, but there's no people that are being genuinely interested in the sustainability, environmentally related type of jobs, which are mostly non-profitable at the moment. So we have to really change the whole mentality of business models and so forth, wherein by guaranteeing a living income to these individuals, for example, the volunteers, then you as a business owner, you wouldn't have to be worrying about that aspect. What would you say about that?
Yeah, it would be good if
we're missing out a little bit of your audio.
That up, and they would like they are happily engaging themselves in the issue. They've learned about or they studied the sustainability themselves, so they really agree of the intentions of Swappies and the vision, and they would like to help that it will happen, that the company is aiming for, the mission of the company. So and on the other hand, they really have either they don't have a job, so they are students, or they have a job that they really are underqualified. For example, they are cleaning, or they are helping elderly people to support their in their everyday life. So I don't think that people are mentally challenged in their job that they earn money with, because there are not enough green jobs and not enough challenging jobs on the market. So they just take what it is on the market, just to have some money supporting their daily life. But on the other hand, they are not satisfied mentally. They don't feel that they challenge mentally for the job they are doing. So they are really happy to contribute to something meaningful and something that they would love to earn money. Of course, if they would choose, if they would be able to choose, if there would be a job here, of course they would choose this one. But if I cannot pay them at the moment, at least I can give them experience and give them the chance that if it goes better financially for Swappies, they can be employed, and they are going to be the ones who get employment first. Or
very cool. And that's what we also hope. You know, we want people like you and businesses that have this type of concept and idea behind to thrive. We have a question from Anna. She's saying, do you have any suggestions for others who would like to do something similar to what you've done with Swappies, or would you like to make more a difference in the world, like you said, to walk the talk of sustainability and equality and community?
What can I suggest to other people to do something similar? I think you should start acting. And for example, the way I started it was just like I invited my friends to let's swap our clothes. And I invited some, maybe we were 16 people in for the very first swap, and I found a place. First I wanted to make it at home because I thought that's the cheapest. I don't have to pay for rent or something like that. But then I was lucky and I found a cafe where I could arrange it. And I don't know, it just happened that at the end I got so many clothes left after the swap that I considered it as an opportunity of success and continue. And I organized the next one officially for anybody who was interested in to come for an entrance fee. And then only for the second swap, only 3 new people came, but they brought so many clothes that I got double the quantity of the clothes that I got after the first one. So I realized there is a need, and slowly I'm sure I can involve more people. I can gain more reputation in the city, and I just kept on going. And then the next step, I found a free a shop that was a store that was available, and I asked if I could use it for a while if they don't have any other companies interested in renting it. So I think you can find a way if you really want to do something, or at least it never hurts to ask. So I would actually suggest people, if you have an interest, if you have an idea about whatever, it doesn't have to be swapping, it has to be something completely different. You just make the first step and go and ask and try to find the way. And if it doesn't work the way you planned the first time, you go further and try. Keep trying and keep on walking and talk to people. Instead of writing a business plan, definitely I would suggest to do things and calling, asking, writing, being active instead of staying at home and writing business plans or strategies. I believe in doing by doing. I mean, even if it's a small step, you can start it, and then every big business started as a really small, shitty enterprise. So if you have the willingness.
Yeah, of course. And we just have to wrap this hangout because we're beyond time. So just for the sake of looking at the future of Swappies of yourself, because also Anna was asking whether you would like to walk the talk in terms of sustainability, if you have other plans on how to involve more this aspect of equality, community, and so forth. So what's your plan or your perspective on this?
I really would like to see Swappies as a bigger enterprise and a bigger organization, not even as an enterprise. I would love to see it as a network. So popping up in different parts of the world where there is need for it, either by similar organizations and collaborating with them and helping each other, supporting each other, or somehow encouraging other people to make it like how we did here in Sweden. So like a franchise, or there are so many different ways, and I can imagine that it could work in different ways in different countries and different cultures, depending on the need, the market opportunities, the culture itself has. So I really would like to, if anybody would have any suggestion or collaboration ideas, I would be happy to hear, and I'm here to receive and to listen.
Yeah, very cool. We will also be sharing links on your Facebook page so that they can contact you there. And to wrap this hangout, we got a link from Lav Radis. He's saying, here's a similar social enterprise in Croatia dealing with clothing and textile. So we will share that with you for sure. And And then, yeah, as you were mentioning before the Hangout, this is not an entirely new concept, but what I found very interesting is that you are pushing it out as a business and really place in a very central point in Sweden, in Uppsala. So I find that very necessary in terms of integrating this aspect of sustainability in a very like normal, regular mall. And for example, here in Mexico, we don't have any of these businesses, so this is also like a new territory for you to explore if you would like to. So Tunde, thanks a lot for being here on the Hangout. Thanks for sharing your entire new business model, and we hope to see you some other time, maybe in future, to see developments and so forth on Swappies.
Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciated it to be able to discuss it with you and share with you, and yeah, it was really nice. Thank you.
Very cool. And to our viewers, remember that next Sunday we have yet another live Google Hangout on the same time. So stay tuned, subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Place any questions, comments after this Hangout has been broadcasted if you didn't get to see it live as well. If you have questions or comments for Tunde, we will let her know as well. So thanks for watching. Until next time. Bye.